In the quiet corridors of Buckingham Palace and the carefully guarded archives of the British monarchy, whispers have long circulated about the complicated web of relationships that shaped a generation of royals. Recently, online discussions and sensational headlines have claimed that Princess and has uncovered a hidden secret involving Queen Camilla and the enduring legacy of Diana, Princess of Wales. These stories paint a picture of confrontation, buried documents, and a dramatic revelation that could shift the balance of power within the royal family. But what do we actually know? What is fact? And what is the product of speculation that thrives in the digital age? Today, we examine the real history behind these claims. We look at the documented relationship between Princess and Queen Camilla, the lasting influence of Diana's life and work, and why stories of secret dossiers and palace showdowns continue to capture public attention more than 2 decades after Diana's death. The truth, as it so often is with the royal family, is more nuanced than the headlines suggest, and far more revealing about how the institution has adapted over time. Princess and the Princess Royal has spent a lifetime defined by duty. As the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, she has carried out thousands of official engagements, often with little fanfare. She is known for her no-nonsense approach, her commitment to protocol, and her preference for substance over spectacle. Queen Camilla, once Camilla Parker Bowles, followed a very different path into the heart of the monarchy. Her relationship with Charles, then Prince of Wales, spanned decades, weathered intense public scrutiny, and eventually led to marriage in 2005 and her role as Queen Consort after the death of Queen Elizabeth II in 2022. The two women share more history than many realize. In the early 1970s, before Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, Princess and dated him for a time. The relationship did not last, partly due to differences in background and faith, but the connection remained. Andrew Parker Bowles later became godfather to Anne's daughter, Zara Tyndall, and the two families stayed on cordial terms. Anne and Camilla moved in overlapping social circles, shared interests in horses and country life, and eventually became sisters-in-law. Far from the bitter rivalry some online narratives invent, their public interactions have shown mutual respect. In a 2023 BBC documentary examining King Charles's first year as monarch, Princess Anne spoke openly about her sister-in-law. She said she had known Camilla a long time, off and on, and praised her understanding of the role of queen, and noted that the position was not one Camilla would have been a natural for, yet she performed it well, providing a change of speed and tone that made a real difference to the king. In later comments reported in 2025, and described Camilla as incredibly generous and understanding. These are not the words of someone engaged in a secret war over Diana's memory. They are the measured observations of a working royal assessing another's contribution to the institution. So where do the stories of uncovering secrets come from? Much of the recent online content appears to stem from a familiar pattern: AI-generated scripts, dramatic titles, and recycled claims about palace archives, lost letters, or hidden plots. Fact-checkers have already identified some circulating audio clips purporting to be Princess and speaking harshly about Camilla as artificial. No credible news outlet has reported any discovery of a secret dossier by and related to Camilla and Diana. No official statement from the palace has confirmed such an event. What exists is a long-standing public fascination with a triangle that once defined the royal family's most difficult years. Diana's impact remains profound. Her death in 1997 triggered an extraordinary outpouring of grief and forced the monarchy to confront its own distance from public emotion. Her work on landmines, HIV/AIDS awareness, and homelessness changed how many people viewed the role of a modern royal. William and Harry have continued elements of that work in their own ways. Charities associated with Diana still operate, and her image continues to appear in public memory as a figure of compassion and vulnerability. Camilla, for her part, deliberately chose not to use the title Princess of Wales upon her marriage to Charles, a decision widely understood as a gesture of respect toward Diana's memory and the public's lingering attachment. When she became Queen Consort, and later Queen, the title was framed carefully, with the late Queen Elizabeth's explicit support. The two legacies do not cancel each other out. Diana's influence lives in the public's emotional connection to the monarchy and in the expectation that royals show humanity. Camilla's contribution has been quieter: steady support for Charles, patronage of literacy, osteoporosis, and domestic violence causes, and a pragmatic approach to the demands of the role. Princess and occupies a third space, neither romantic rival nor rival claimant to public affection, but a figure of continuity and institutional loyalty. Historical context matters here. The 1980s and 1990s were a period of intense media pressure. The breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage played out in newspapers and books. Camilla was cast, often unfairly and with limited agency of her own, as the other woman. Diana's Panorama interview in 1995 brought private pain into public view. After Diana's death, Charles and Camilla proceeded cautiously. Their wedding in 2005 was civil, followed by a service of prayer and dedication. Public acceptance grew gradually. By the time of the coronation in 2023, Camilla stood as queen alongside Charles, with the institution signaling that the past had been acknowledged and the present required stability. Princess Anne's role in all of this has been consistent with her character. She has rarely commented on family personal matters in public. When she has spoken about Camilla, it has been in terms of duty performed rather than personal drama. In November 2024, during a joint engagement at the University of London, Camilla invited Anne to enter a room first, and politely declined, observing the formal order of precedence. The moment was minor, yet it illustrated Anne's adherence to established rules even in private settings. It was not a snub. It was protocol. Public reaction to stories linking Anne, Camilla, and Diana's legacy tends to divide along familiar lines. Some viewers remain deeply protective of Diana's memory and view any association with Camilla through that lens. Others see the monarchy as an institution that must move forward and appreciate Camilla's low-key reliability. Social media amplifies both perspectives, often without new evidence. Claims of secret documents or dramatic confrontations fill the gap left by the absence of official drama. In an era when attention is currency, the more explosive the title, the more likely the video is to be clicked. Royal experts who have followed the family for decades generally describe Anne and Camilla's relationship as functional and respectful rather than intimate. They note that Anne's primary loyalty is to the institution and to her brother the king. Supporting Camilla in her role is consistent with that loyalty. There is no verified evidence that Anne has sought to undermine Camilla or to weaponize Diana's memory against her. Speculation that she has done so remains exactly that, speculation. What does the persistence of these stories tell us about the monarchy today? It shows that Diana's emotional hold on parts of the public has not faded. It also shows that Camilla's position, while accepted by many, is still contested by some who never fully reconciled with the history that preceded her marriage. Princess Anne, as a bridge figure who knew both women and has served under multiple generations of family, becomes a convenient vehicle for narratives of justice or revelation. The reality is less cinematic. Anne continues her work. Camilla continues hers. The institution continues to adapt. Looking ahead, the royal family faces familiar challenges, maintaining relevance, managing public expectation, and balancing tradition with modernity. William and Catherine's approach to their roles already reflects lessons drawn from Diana's popularity and the difficulties that followed. Harry's path has diverged and remains one of the most active working royals, a model of consistency. Camilla's role as queen will be judged by her contribution over time rather than by the controversies of decades past. The idea of a secret uncovered by Princess and about Camilla and Diana's legacy makes for compelling viewing. It invites audiences to imagine hidden truths finally brought into the light. Yet the documented record points in a different direction, and has publicly credited Camilla with supporting the king effectively. The two women share a long, if complicated, acquaintance rooted in the same social world. Diana's legacy endures in public affection and charitable work. Camilla's place in the monarchy rests on the choices made by Charles, by the late queen, and by the public's gradual acceptance. In the end, the most revealing aspect of this story may not be any secret at all. It is the enduring power of narrative itself, the way unfinished emotional chapters from the 1990s continue to generate new chapters in the 2020s, even when the principal figures have moved on. Princess Anne has not needed to uncover a hidden plot. Her life of service already demonstrates what the monarchy values: reliability, discretion, and the quiet performance of duty. Those qualities, more than any dramatic revelation, define our place in the family and in history. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest royal family news. We'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.